Do you feel that fighting was fulfilling your purpose as a human being? Do you feel that you were put on the planet to be that?
I thought I was put on this planet to be a. That's what I thought. I thought I was going to fulfill that purpose, but then.
Did the fighting stem from coming from a place of a passion or from a place of necessity?
Probably like a passion, because I started sports late. I started wrestling at 17 and it changed my life. And then I went to college. Never thought I was going to go to college with the path I was going down. And I fell in love with wrestling. I got thrown into a fight with like 3 days notice. And the guy was like, that was the best guy in Memphis. You're going to be a fighter. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
This is a men's mental health podcast. I do want to ask you your stance on mental health.
I feel like a lot of men's mental health issues probably come from women. A lot of men commit suicide behind a woman. I think we are all human at the end of the day, and whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Like we all have feelings. For some strange reason, women don't think men have feelings.
How do you think we work through that?
I think that by nature that women only care about themselves a lot. It's part of their survival. I think that we should do a better part of vetting our women before we marry them, before we have kids with them. A lot of times, women wearing makeup. They're going to put a mask on and pretend like who they are. And soon they get their ring, they stop wearing that makeup. Then you're like, who did I marry? You know what I'm saying? She stopped cooking for you, stopped doing the cocktail in the bedroom. But like I was saying.
Well, you're gonna get me in trouble with my audience, man.
I'm sorry, audience. I don't think he knew what he was in.
Welcome, everyone, to the Beyond the Cover podcast. My intent with creating this podcast was to provide a platform where men can speak openly about their journeys with mental health without fear of judgment while doing so. While I, the host, or you, the listener, may not agree with everything or anything that a certain guest says for that matter, my focus is not to decipher what is right or wrong. Rather, it's to gain a better understanding of why somebody thinks and acts the way that they do. And with this understanding, we will begin to make better sense of our own lives and the world around us. So join me as we open the books into these men's journeys and dissect the pages within. Today's guest is Rampage Jackson. Rampage shares a really interesting insight into the mind of a professional fighter and how he chooses to avoid physical confrontation as much as he can in the outside world, contrary to what most people may believe. Rampage also talks about a past relationship and how it led him to depressive moments in his life. It's an incredibly powerful story. I'm so very excited for you all to hear today. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Rampage Jackson, welcome to Beyond the Cover.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Man, I'm really excited about this one because my vision for having men come on and just talk about mental health, wherever their stance lies, I think that there's a definite stigma attached where men feel like they can't talk about it for fear of being seen as weak. And that's why I'm excited for today, because regardless of what you say, there's not a single person in the world that could attribute that to you. I mean, when it comes to being a badass, and we'll jump into this, but I mean, combat sports, gladiator, it is, I think, at the ultimate peak of all combat. It is like the most probably violent. Men see it as just like, if you fight, I mean, you can't say anything to anybody that can fight, because at the end of the day, they know, like, if it really comes push to shove, I can go there if I need to.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about being a man, having conversations with other men. And when you're a professional fighter, yeah, you're right. Like, it seems like, even though I'm not a violent person, like, MMA is my job. I don't walk around every day like I'm at work, you know what I'm saying? So some men act like they got to walk on eggshells, but I let people know, speak freely, you can say whatever you want. It's hard to offend me, but most men, you got to be careful what you say, because it could break out in an argument at any time, right? And it can get physical. But with me, that's not the case.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I already feel the calm presence. And for the listeners that, again, your name is extremely recognizable, but I'm just going to run through here real quickly. You were the former UFC light heavyweight champion at one point. You've then defended the belt, I think one other time, correct? Or multiple times? Or
well, I defended it once, and
okay.
I gained another belt at the same time.
You fought in a few other leagues, and you've been. Did I see online? Are you still like taking fights here and there? Or?
Yeah, I plan on doing boxing.
Okay.
I want to try some boxing before I get too old.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And how old are you right now?
46.
And you're still throwing punches at 46,
Oh,
man.
what you trying to say?
I'm saying that what's the secret? Because most people think that after a certain age, like I can't do it anymore. I'll give you a perfect example. I had to give up my flag football league this year because my back was so locked up. I traded flag football for the chiropractor.
Mm,
I think a lot of men think that at a certain point they start losing their testosterone, they can't do it anymore.
mm.
That's clearly not affected you. You're at the age that you are, and
Uh,
how do you combat that? Do you just age is a number to you, and you just keep moving?
if I'm gonna be honest, the last time I fought was 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, this would be the oldest I ever fought. But in my sport, man, it's just one of those things. It's hard to walk away from. It's it's the biggest high you'll ever receive. You know, winning a fight or knocking someone out.
Yeah.
So it's hard to walk away from. I still love it. So I don't care how old I am. I think I'm still gonna love fighting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably still be the guy in the gym sparring, and picking fights with people in the gym. If I can't, fight, publicly anymore, I'll probably be that guy in the gym fighting like my teammates or my friends,
Mm-hmm.
just in the gym, just with the buddies there watching. It's just one of those things. It's just in me.
Yeah.
So I don't care about my age.
Yeah.
But I don't think that older people should be fighting younger people, because the younger person has the advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I totally
sure.
understand that.
Yeah.
You brought up something really interesting that I want to dive deeper into because I can relate to it to a degree, not to the level of fame that you were at, because again, you talk about that high. At one point, you were at the top. You were the champion.
Mm.
I mean, nobody else was above you. You were the guy.
Mm.
Was it hard at that moment? I'm sure in that moment you felt on top of the world.
Mm.
Did you ever experience a come down effect? Did you ever experience like, well, now what? I mean, I feel like I'm at the very top. Do you find yourself chasing that rush still?
No, the rush for me was the night of the fight. Like after I won and getting my hand raised, the biggest rush is like when you knock someone out or the referee pulls you off. Other than that, it was nothing else after that. I didn't start fighting to be famous or to be recognized, because when I started like 25 years ago, it wasn't popular at all. I started to make a living. So the other part that came with it, that that wasn't part of where I got my high from.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the actual fight, and right after the fight, the other stuff was just, I figured like it came with the territory. It was, and it's hard to get used to the fame from fighting, because if you really think about it, it's not really fame, it's popularity. I would like to say fame is like when you're a household name, like Will Smith couldn't walk into this building without getting bothered by everybody, women and men like me. It's just only dudes know who I am. So that's not really fame, and I love my fans, and I don't like when people take my words wrong. Really, I love my fans, and when I meet people, I can tell if they're a Rampage fan or they're just an MMA fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't love all MMA fans, but
Okay.
I love all Rampage fans.
What is it about the other fans that aren't Rampage fans that you don't like? Is it they just talk too much, or what is it about that differentiates them?
Well, if I'm gonna be 100% honest, I think that people don't realize that I come from like a different culture. Number one, where I come from in Memphis, you really don't touch people you don't know. And I guess some fans, they see me a lot on TV. I joke around, I got a bubbly personality, and sometimes I'm like with my friend or with a chick or something, and people just, I don't know, just come up and touch me and stuff like that, and I just don't like it.
Mm.
I don't like to be touched by people I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just my culture, because I've asked people like, "What, am I being rude?" and stuff like that. Because one time I was with my daughter at the mall shopping, and some dude touched me, and yeah, I was just in one of those moods, and my daughter got mad at me for going off on the guy. Like I was like, why are you going off on me? She was like, "Well, he just touched you."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Yeah, I don't like him touching me. You like people touching you?" She said, "No, but I'm a girl." I'm like, "Why is that different?" I don't know this. To be 100, I don't know this guy's sexual orientation. I don't know. Like, why is he touching me?
Mm-hmm.
Why he touching me on a small part of my back? Why is he touching me? I don't know this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, be rude or something like that, but it's just things like that. And, I'm a germ freak a little bit, and people, get in your personal space or while I'm eating or something like that. And they don't know. they probably just think like, oh, Rampage is a dick. They don't know that I have like little quirks and things like, man, don't be talking over my food, bro. It's just how I am.
Yeah.
You know, I would be this way whether I was a fighter or not. You know, I've always been this way. You know, even growing up in school, you know, somebody touch me, I don't know, I cuss them out or it turns to something. Just carry on. And it's just things like that you don't think about when you go into doing something you love. You don't, when I signed up to be a fighter, I didn't think like, oh, one day somebody's going to touch me when I don't want to be touched. You don't think like that.
No.
So, you know, but I think like the Rampage fans, when they come up to me, they know. They're like, oh, what's up, Rampage? How you doing? And it seems like they know how to approach me and we have a good interaction. But then people that's an MMA fan, they know who I am. They just do weird things like slap me on the chest or, you know what I'm saying, touch me inappropriately or say the wrong thing. Like the thing that I get a lot that I don't know how to deal with is like, are you who I think you are? I'm like, bro, I don't know who you think I am. Because some people, confuse me for Rashad Evans. You know, when I'm in Japan, I get called LeBron James.
I was gonna ask if there's people of different ethnicities.
Oh yeah. But sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes black people mistake me for random people too, like that. You know, I've been called Kimbo Slice. It's just, people call me Rambo. I'm like, bro, I don't know who you think I am, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things.
Talk to me about how, I mean, what's that initial response you feel internally when somebody does miscategorize you or thinks you're somebody else? I mean, what does that bring internally? Do you feel, is it a frustration mainly?
No. It's just, I know exactly that they're not a Rampage fan. They're an MMA fan. It's no big deal. I appreciate them and I respect them for enjoying my sport. I think MMA fans are the coolest people on the planet because it is a niche sport, right? But I just say I got mad love for the real Rampage fans, the ones that know me. Then I can be myself and I can interact with them, make them laugh or make them have a memorable moment. But the people that's casual Rampage fans, I just try to get away with it with being less awkward as possible and just get the moment over. Like, oh, nice to meet you, and keep moving. Unless they're rude to me. If somebody's rude to me, then that's the energy that they brought, and they won't have a positive, reaction with me. And then they go back to Rampage was an asshole. And then if any fan say that I was an asshole to them, and I already know like, oh, they was a dick.
Yeah, absolutely. More see it's on them, not you.
Yeah. Most likely, but I'm a human being. Maybe they called me on a day where I didn't feel like taking a picture.
Yeah.
Or I didn't, feel like doing anything. Like I was just thinking about this the other day. It's crazy. One time, I was just leaving the gym. I think I was training for a fight or something like that. I'm gonna break it down. I never talk about this, but even though I'm a germ freak, I think MMA made me a germ freak. I'm a germ freak, but if I train 3 times a day, I always try to make my wrestling and jiu-jitsu at the end, because if I got somebody else sweat on me, I have to take a shower right afterwards. But in the morning, if I just run, it's my sweat. If I hit the bag or hit past, so it's just my sweat, I'm okay with it. But one time, so I don't have to take 3 showers a day, because I used to do that, and it really fucks you up. They really mess up your skin, I'm telling you.
No, yeah.
And
dries it out, right?
Oh, really bad. And so I put my wrestling and jiu-jitsu at the end of the day, and then I was leaving. I had to stop and do something, and this one guy wanted a picture, and I was like, man, I know I just left the gym, and I trained 3 times, and I smell really bad. And he was with a hot chick. I really didn't want to go take a picture. I was trying to be cool. I was like, no, I'm busy. And you know how some people are there. They talk you into it. It came, and I really want a picture, and I try to make it fast so I get out of there. Then later on, I saw on Twitter, he was like, "Yeah, Rampage really wasn't nice. He really didn't want to take a picture with me. He had BO." Like, yeah, I just left the gym. That's why I didn't want to take a picture with you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do my thing. I had to stop by the bank or something. I had something I had to do, and it just comes with the territory. Sometimes you just got to think about it. But then since social media and everything, people can drag you. Then people think I'm the smelly kid. I'm like, it's like one of those things.
No, I totally understand this, because before I was in the spotlight, it was like I didn't care if my hair was out of whack. If I walked out in public, I didn't have to have a fresh haircut. I didn't have to be camera ready. But then there became this point where I felt at every moment I had to be, because every interaction I thought, well, I don't want to like present a certain way. when you were the world champion, when you were like, I guess when the most people probably knew you, did you feel the weight upon your shoulders to ever be something that you weren't, or were you always authentically you through those moments?
Oh man, I always been this way. You know, since I can remember. I don't feel like you should have to put on a show or change for the camera, because the fans will see through that, and then if you acting, you're gonna run out of material, or you know what I'm saying. It's just gonna run out one day. One day you'll get tired of acting. You know, that's why I see a lot of fighters that put on a big gimmick and stuff like that. When the fans see the true person, they kind of they kind of call them out on it, and it don't look too good for them. So I've always been this way, and people, they was wondering why I was like this. Then they meet my dad. They were like, "Oh, okay, now I get it." You know, I'm just like my dad, and people just don't know my dad, so they don't know who I'm like this. Me and my dad, we basically almost the same person.
Okay. And so I'm curious, so you made fighting was your job for a long period of time. And I assume, let me ask you this first. Do you feel that fighting was fulfilling your purpose as a human being? Do you feel that you were put on the planet to be that person? Or would you just say, it was just a job that I happened to take up? What are your ties to?
I thought I was put on this planet to be a porn star. That's what I thought. I thought I was going to fulfill that purpose, but then
what happened?
Shit, I started watching porn. I don't think I got what it takes. Them motherfuckers make me look small. Like, fuck that. I'm not doing this job. I might as well get my ass kicked. Like, fuck. I was like, maybe I can go to Japan and be a porn star out there. I'll probably be bigger than those guys. But the ones here, like, god damn, like, I can't. I'm like, I can't come to this job like lacking like this. Fuck that.
So you went, okay, porn's not gonna work, so let me start.
Yeah, let me start fighting.
Start beating dudes up. Okay.
Yeah.
That is, oh, dude, that is not what I expected to be the answer, but I guess it's never too late though.
Well, no.
Do you think the Rampage fans would be appreciative of that change of career?
Well, I don't think they're like, they're probably like some of the moves I made up over the years. They're probably trying to use some of my moves, but I don't think
you could incorporate some of the fight moves into those scenes, maybe.
No. I don't think. No, you can't do that. Okay. I can't do that, but I don't think. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you trouble. So, okay, so this kind of halfway answers the question, but I was curious. So, when you first started fighting, would you say between the two options, did the fighting stem from coming from a place of a passion or from a place of necessity?
You know what? Probably like a passion, because I started sports late in my life. I wanted to play football when I was in junior high school, but it was a couple guys on my team. They were just dicks. They kept jumping me and stuff, and the coach wouldn't help me out. So then, like, one was, 2 guys, okay, 3, 4. Then they started bringing guns and shit to train. I was like, I told the coach he wouldn't help me. I was like, fuck it. So I started wrestling at 17, and it changed my life. And I started getting good at it. And then I went to college. Never thought I was going to go to college with the path I was going down. And I fell in love with wrestling, but I got injured, so I had to leave college, and I went back home, and then I got thrown into a fight with like 3 days notice, and the guy was like, that was the best guy in Memphis. You're going to be a fighter. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do it. As long as I can keep wrestling. And I kind of wanted to get out of my house because, after college, I went back to live with my mom, and she was like, what are you doing back here? And I was like, oh, it's time for me to go. Yeah. So, fighting, got me out of the house, and I figured I could make money at it. I already had kids. I had to support my kids, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But if I had my way, I probably would have been a pro wrestler.
Okay.
If I had my way, if everything went according to my plan.
And I get, because for some of those that are listening, even myself, I'm ignorant to the fact, you still get a wrestling component with fighting MMA, correct?
Yeah. You do. You bring wrestling. You bring whatever art. Back in my day, you started when I
so
first.
Now you're aging yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You already did it. So
okay.
Back when I started, whatever art that that you knew, you brought it with you. Then you trained jiu-jitsu and kickboxing back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Very few trained boxing, and so I had wrestling, so I started learning Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Then I started learning kickboxing, and then years later I started training boxing.
Okay.
And so you always bring, because the best fighters are the ones that can control the fight, the wrestlers.
Okay. So interesting. So it's the wrestlers, you feel that they have the most control in that.
They have the most advantage.
Okay.
They have the most advantage. So a lot of the champions have a wrestler base background or understanding.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Because this is a men's mental health podcast, I do want to ask you your stance on mental health. I think it's no surprise that there's a stigma around it. As somebody that again is in an extreme combat sport, is it possible for men to be vulnerable in the fight realm, or is it, in your experience, is it basically looked down upon, or just basically it's like, let's just, you deal with that on your own? I mean, what's your stance on vulnerability in men?
I think just by society is looked down upon, because we're supposed to be strong. We're not meant to be weak. And I've met fighters and people with mental health issues, and quite honestly, like when I first learned it, he's like, I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? We kind of don't want to think something's wrong with any of us, right? And throughout my life, I probably had like small mental health issues because I feel like I grew up with my mom being a feminist and my sister being the way she is, and it kind of made me the person who I am towards women, and it kind of a lot of times I feel like a lot of men's mental health issues probably come from women. A lot of it, what I'm saying, the way a woman treats you and affects you. Like, I'm not gonna say who these people are to me, but I've seen men like have women walk all over them and make them feel some type of way, and it give them some, mental health issues. A lot of men commit suicide and stuff like that behind, things that a woman, did to them, stuff like that. And I just think that maybe in MMA, it's, some people may look down upon a guy for being vulnerable, but I don't. I think we are all human at the end of the day, and what I'm saying, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Like, we all have feelings, but for some strange reason, women don't think men have feelings.
Why do you think that standard is in place? Is it from an evolutionary standpoint? Are men just supposed to be the protectors, providers, and how do you think also too, I guess the second part of that is, how do you think we work through that to overcome that?
That's a good question. So I kind of do think a lot of stuff is passed down from DNA, from evolution, and because we are by nature supposed to protect and provide for the women around us. I have two daughters and stuff now. My oldest daughter, I think she's learning now, and I try to teach her. Like from my standpoint, so she can understand women. Because I think a lot of women only focus on their own happiness and their own well-being, and I think that even comes from DNA is passed down. Because if you think about it, think about back in the days when we were cavemen and we had to go and hunt for our woman and our kids and stuff, right? And say we got killed out there hunting, and that's the only way our wife ate, is when we brought home food, right? So what's she gonna do if you get killed out there? She gonna starve, or she's gonna go and shack up with another strong hunter to keep feeding her and the offspring? So I think that by nature that women only care about themselves a lot. By nature, it's part of their survival because because they don't. The women I can't speak for all women. The women that I've experienced and known seems like they really don't care about much but their own happiness. And I think that might be a design by nature or come from nature because if we can't provide for them anymore and protect them, like what are we doing for them? So they'll go jump ship. They'll go find the next person they can.
You bring up something interesting, and I'm curious. Do you feel that we should prioritize others over ourselves?
No, I don't think that. I don't know if I'm. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't like the saying "happy wife, happy life." I don't like that saying. I think that's I think that's I don't think that's right. I think that if you're in a relationship with a woman, you both should put the best foot forward to make each other happy. But yeah, the stigma is that men should provide for a woman and protect her. Yeah, we do our jobs and let them do their jobs. And I feel like if a woman if she's not doing her job, bringing what she need to bring to the table, then I think we should jump ship. As long as you don't got kids and stuff like that, I think that we should do a better part of vetting our women before we marry them, before we have kids with them. We should really know what type of woman we got before it's too late. That's why divorce rates are so high.
Mm-hmm.
We fall in love with a woman, and a lot of times, women wearing makeup. If you know what I'm trying to say, they wear makeup every day, and they wear makeup. They know they want their ring, so they're gonna put a mask on and pretend like who they are. And soon they get their ring, they stop wearing that makeup. Then you like, man, who's this bitch? You know what I'm saying? Who did I marry? You know what I'm saying? She stopped cooking for you, stopped doing the cocktail in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
No, can't avoid that. That video has absolutely blown up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it cracked me up when I first saw it. Now I see she's touring the country right now.
Yeah, that's the new term for it. You can say that for anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy because I used to ask my homegirls like, what's the nicest way to ask your girl for a BJ? And none of them couldn't tell. Every girl, there's no nice way to ask for it.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, you want to kiss on it a little bit, something like that. Now I just make them laugh like, hey, babe, what's up with that cocktail? And now they know.
And it's foolproof. You say,
yeah, it's funny. As long as you make it funny on them. But like I was saying,
you're gonna get me in trouble with my audience, man.
I'm sorry, audience. I don't think he knew what he was in. I don't know what to look at.
You can look at any of them, man. You know what I appreciate is, I think it's safe to say, like, you're just you. You're unfiltered,
yeah.
And at the end of the day, I know that there's going to be some people that are going to hear what you say and they're going to run and make assumptions, but it's clear that you don't care.
No, I don't care because, bro, like I know what this world is. The world is very sensitive now, and the world has changed from 20 years ago when I was in my 20s and stuff. Right, the world's changed. I haven't, and people are so opinionated, and everybody think that you have to agree with their opinion or they're going to hate you and stuff like that. Just look at what 4 years ago when we was voting for the presidents. I seen people do posts on Facebook saying, if you voting for Trump, then unfriend me, and I don't care if I'm related to you. Mm-hmm. We let so many things divide us, and I disagree, and I refuse to live like that. I don't care what religion this person is, who they vote for. I don't care about their personal sexuality as long as they ain't thrown in my face. I don't care nothing about person. Just how do they treat other people around them and how they treat me. And I think that's my opinion on how I wish everybody would treat people. But it's just me. I love women. I think women are they're like one of God's greatest creation. They're like art. I love them, but I don't like all of them. I don't like all the stuff they do. I don't like the feminists, what they stand for, And I just try to. I don't voice my opinions out there. I just try to teach my daughters. Like I'm like, look, don't be a feminist because that's not going to get you anywhere. You want to get you a good husband and have a good life. Don't let them fool you because you got to listen to numbers. The studies show like a lot of women not going to get married because it's OnlyFans shit. A lot of women not going to be married in the next 5 years, and a lot of women they lie and say like, oh, my happiness don't come from a man being married and having kids and stuff like that. Okay, that's what you want. That's what you want to put out there, and that's what you want to say. But numbers don't lie. Study shows that women are happier with their kids at home, taking care of their own house and stuff like that. Women really don't want to work. Women really don't want to work. And I don't care if a woman want to work or not. Like if I get married, I'm like, hey, you want to work or you want to stay at home? What you want to do? And whatever she want to do, she can do it. When I was married, I married a Japanese lady, and she moved to America, and she was a housewife, and she was happy. She took care of the house, our kids, and she was happy. She just needed more friends because she come from another country. So I feel like numbers don't lie, and people try to cancel me from some jokes I've said over the years and stuff like that. Like, I don't care. People can call me whatever they want. It don't bother me. Unlike my brother and my business partner Harrison Rogers, I have thick skin. Because they don't like me, they can cock to it. I'm joking about the cock to it. Y'all don't have to cock to it unless you want to.
Have you? So, are you? I mean, listen. You mentioned it, and you said you don't know what you're about to get. But again, I'll say something on my own stuff. I lived a life, the majority of my life, people pleaser, trying to impress others, and I built up this facade of what I thought people wanted me to be, and I was unhappier, more unhappy than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I finally got to the point where I got torn to shreds, and I had two options: either I build back up the same lie again, or I build back up the real version of me. And that real version of me, I finally chose that. I said, this is where I'm going. And life is just easier when you're real.
Yeah.
And when you don't overthink things, when you just say, this is it. Like, I don't have to like play this game of I step in this room and I have to become this. It's like, no, I just am what I am. Every single interview, every single room I walk in, I'm the same damn person. It just makes it simpler. I mean, it seems like for you, again, you don't have to overthink because you just present yourself as you are.
I just be myself. Look at pro wrestling, brother. Like there's a good guy and there's a heel, right? Mm-hmm. But they both have fans. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, haters, they still check on you. So everybody's not gonna like you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So people that love you, they're gonna love you, and they're gonna check up on you and see what you're doing. And haters gonna do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the haters, they secretly be your biggest fan. They just hate on you because they can't do what you're doing. And so, you embrace them both. And if then just feel some type of way if you don't have haters. If you don't have haters, then you ain't doing shit. But you're not gonna please everybody. I think this world is so soft now. America. I travel the world. America is our country first, and I don't want to go into my beliefs on why, but I feel like it started with those participation trophies. I think that's when it started, and I think it's all done by design. I don't want to get into all that, but when I travel the world and people see me as not being super patriotic, I love my country, but I feel like life is it's like chess, and it's also like poker. So I try to wear, I don't show my cards, and people can tell me things what they think, and you'd be surprised how many countries make fun of us, like right in our face, like on TV. I guess they don't assume that we be watching like on TV and stuff like that. And I feel like our country has been weakened by design. And what you're doing here is good because you're talking about men, mental health, and I don't think it's a coincidence that all our testosterone is lowered. All of ours, everybody's testosterone is being lowered now. It's because of food we eat, or I heard that we get lower testosterone from having sex with girls is on birth control. But I'm no doctor. I don't know how true that is. But
Well, you're almost dream profession. There's studies showing that increased viewership of pornography can lower testosterone itself because it essentially numbs the brain over time. So and foods are a big one, and a sedentary lifestyle are another one. And these are all things that we're seeing an increase. And you mentioned the OnlyFans, that's out there everywhere. It's so prominent. So yeah, I mean, even deodorants, the underarm, like that, those chemicals can leach into the body, and then that will lower testosterone. And testosterone is a part of what makes a man a man. It is. I mean, it's why we are, the average man versus woman there's a difference in stature because from an evolutionary standpoint, men used to be the protectors, right? And so now we're navigating in a world where it's, well, what is the role of a man versus a woman, right? And that's where everything's up in the air. And yeah, I think everyone's afraid of speaking up for fear of being canceled. Yeah. And for fear of judgment from others. Yeah. And it sounds like you made a comment. I want to go back to this. In your opinion, do you feel that the greatest life lessons come through the wins or through the losses?
Oh yeah, man. Most of the time it comes from the losses. Okay. Because you can learn a lot more about yourself. And you also learn how strong you are. It's not about, just learning a lesson from a loss too. It's learning, if you can come back and win again. And just because you lose once don't mean you're a loser.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Just because you fail, doesn't mean you're a failure. Yeah. Can you pinpoint a part in your life, the biggest loss, whatever that is for you? And what life lesson did you learn in that moment?
Bro, this is the craziest thing, but two of my losses, my first losses, catapulted my career. My first pro fight, I lost to this guy named Marvin Eastman. And I eventually rematched him my first fight in the UFC, but my first time ever fighting him was in King of the Cage. Got thrown to fight 2 weeks notice, and I lost to him. But I did such a great job, like putting up a good fight, that the promoter was like, "Wow, bro, you are like a future star. I want to have you back. I want you to come back and fight again." He brought me back, and I kept fighting, and I kept winning. And if I would have just won that fight, if I would have made a boring fight and won, I wouldn't have been on his radar. It was a loss, but it was how I fought. And I knew in my mind why I lost, and it didn't get me there. It was my first loss as a fighter, but it was my first professional fight. I've lost before in wrestling, so I don't let defeats define me. And I came back and went on the winning streak. Then my first fight in Japan, I fought this guy named Sakuraba. I can't pronounce his first name, Japanese name. Mm-hmm. And he was a superstar over there. Another short notice fight. And I went out there and did my best, but I put on the show. I entertained the fans, and I lost. And that catapulted my career in Japan. And that's where everything started for me. So, I feel like if we keep a positive outlook, even L's can turn to W's. It's just your mindset.
Mm-hmm. When you face those losses, and it's a genuine question. I mean, do you have those feelings of sadness? I mean, have you had depression at points? I mean, anxiety. I mean, do you feel these things?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I don't get depressed over losses, but I think once I lost my belt, I kind of got a little depressed because I felt like I was robbed. That happens when you let judges decide your fights. Mm-hmm. That happened. I was depressed for a little bit. I went through a lot. I went through a lot of stuff and landed me in jail for one night. But that's a whole different thing. But I got depressed recently. Remember, I mentioned that I married a Japanese woman, mm-hmm. and she was happy. It was a good marriage. But I had 2 kids before I met her, and one of the kids I had to get custody of, and she told me to choose her or him. She said her parents didn't understand like having illegitimate kids, and so she left me when I got custody of my son. And this was like 18 years ago, and And we got like separated and we was going through a divorce. And then I had like a big championship fight. So we kind of put the divorce off. Long story short, I, we stayed separated all these years and 2020 happened and I didn't know what's going to happen. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist myself now. I think about who knows. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I bought a house and moved my family. I was moved in together and stuff like that. And one thing led to another. And I asked her, look, let's just get back together for the kids and stuff like that. And she didn't want to. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's just get a divorce. And her and I, we was friends, co-parent. We had been living in this house together for, I don't know, maybe 8 months, a year. And it just made me remember why I married her in the first place. But I forgot all the bad things she did after I didn't accept her ultimatum, and I took my son, and so I filed for divorce, and then now she just turned to like the most evil person ever. And mind you, all these years I was separated from and stuff like that, I didn't have to be put on child support because I took care of everything. She lived in one of my houses. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to be a dad, be a good person. I believe in karma. And then once I filed for divorce and going and stuff, I got depressed from dealing with that because, I just think it's unfair sometimes what women do, to go to court lying on you and making me out to be like a deadbeat and she just lying about a bunch of stuff. Like we had like a post-nuptial in place because back in 2007, she wanted it to end a divorce and get back together, but I didn't trust her because she was like coming after my money a lot because she knew I was like up for a big money fight in 2007 against Chuck Liddell. Mm-hmm. So I stopped trusting her. So it was her idea to sign she didn't know what it was called. It was her idea to sign some paperwork saying that she didn't want no money or nothing from me. So my attorneys drew up a transmutation agreement, and she signed it happily. But now, when I filed for divorce years later, trying to lie like, oh, she don't speak English. She didn't know what she was signing. And then I threatened her to sign it. And that depressed me because all these years, I've been happy and to be able to raise my head up high saying that, I've been a good provider for her because she left her family and her job, all her friends to come to America to help me raise my oldest son. But then I had to get my second son that she didn't know about. I didn't know he was my son. And, so like I said, I believe in karma. Because she did that for me, I happily took care of her, brought her cars. Whenever she needed a new car, I got another one, paid for her and my kids to go back to Japan, had a house for her, paid all the bills, and gave her money every month. I've done everything and stuff that, even stuff I didn't have to do. I didn't have to buy her a car. I didn't have to pay for the trip back to Japan. I didn't have to do all this stuff. So it depressed me how she how she lied on me and turned on me in court. Like all these years, like when she knew, like she knows me, she knows she could ask me for anything and I would have gave it to her because she's the mother of my kids. And for the first time in my life, I was real depressed and I didn't trust women and I didn't want nothing to do with women other than cocktail.
In those moments where you felt that darkness weighing on you, what avenues do you go to combat that, to manage it?
Man, I'm a man. I went straight to video games, man. You go to video games, you get out of it, you get your mind off things. I had to go do stuff that was fun. I had to go, take trips overseas, go to Colombia and go to, went to Vietnam, just went places with my boys, just hang out. You just need God time, even if you're not going to take the advice from your friends, it's good to hear like different advice from your friends. Just get out of the house. Make sure you shower every day because when you get depressed, it's the first thing you want to do is stay in the bed and stuff all the time. You don't want to shower. You don't want to take care of yourself. Go take care of yourself. Get with your guys. Play some video games. Listen to some music that you like to listen to. Go on like a little boys trip and stuff like that. You have to. That's very important. And that's what helped me. And one of my friends is real knowledgeable. He was like, look, you've done everything that a man should do. Like you know, the stuff she's saying about you ain't true. You know, it shows her character. You got kids with her, and she's lying on you in court and stuff like that. You know, trying to make you look bad, and you know, saying your kids know. Like my kids, they're older now. They're 17 and 18. You know, I found out the reason why she didn't want me to get custody of my kid because she was pregnant with my daughter and didn't tell me. So she's just a liar in herself. She's just a deceiver. That's her personality. Like I said, women wear all this makeup, and you don't know who you know what I'm saying, in love with. You don't know who you bring at home. You don't know who you living with. She got this makeup on. You know, I didn't do my due diligence and figuring out all what type of person she was. So she was a deceiver. She was a liar. That's who she was. And that, even though she's lying on me in court, it don't, you know, they don't reflect on me. It just, for me, what hurt me is that I've done all this for her, but she's trying to she's trying to lie on me. Like I've done all this, like why? Why she's trying to like deface me? And he was like, oh, she's just trying to make herself look better because it looks bad on her that she rip you away from your kids and destroy like a family and a marriage just because she didn't want you to take care of this kid that you could clearly afford to take care of. You know what I'm saying? So she don't want to look like a bad person. So once you understand all this stuff and it don't reflect on you when a woman lie on you and stuff like that, it don't reflect on who we are. We just gotta, you just gotta, get out of the house and hang around your boys and don't be around women for a while because it like every little small thing they do is gonna irk you. Like, I'm the type of guy, it just irks me now. Those small things that some women do, and you just gotta look past that because they're the opposite of us. Ask a woman, how old are you? Like, guess. That irks you. You know what I'm saying? After you deal with a woman that messes with you and stuff like that, like just tell me how old you are. I just need to know you older than 18. I don't give a fuck how old you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be legal here.
So I love that you focus on, it sounds like the support of those closest to you. It sounds like you had these conversations with them when you needed to, which again, I think men need, it's like just feeling like you hear me, you see me. I feel that it's a validation thing. Not more so just that we feel like I know I can go to that person and have this conversation. They're gonna take it at face value, and they also know your true character.
Yeah.
I'm just curious when that first came out and went to court. Was that publicly available? Like, was it the documents and all that? Was it publicly accessible?
I assume.
Like, did you get a lot of blowback from people online,
No,
or
I don't
taking sides, or
no, I don't think it was news like that. Because this shit's still going down right now. Okay. So it's still going down right now. So no, I didn't get in it. It wasn't like news like that. Yeah. I ain't famous as you think I am. It ain't like that.
I mean, and I think there's a sense of humbleness there. I mean, but you are a big name. I understand that you said there's other people that have larger, more fame. Yeah. But I think you at the pinnacle of the UFC. I mean, that was that. I mean, I'm not that it's lost popularity, but I mean,
it's gained popularity. But that was pre.
But that was when media. It was. I mean, that's when it blew up right around the time that you were fighting. It was,
yeah. That's pre social media. So
yeah,
so it's different. Yeah.
What's something that you mentioned this, the Rampage fans, they know who you are. What is something that for those, again, that because there's going to be people that are listening to this and watching the podcast, and my opinion has completely changed. Not that I knew a lot about you, but you've got a very calm demeanor, and I didn't know if you'd come in here wiry, come in on tense, because I think, again, naturally, what I see on TV, what I saw, I'm like, this man, when he turns it on, I mean, he'll take anybody out, and it's they see this violence. What is something that would surprise people about you? Something that, whether it's like just an interest that you partake in, or what is something that you think also is just, you kind of touched on the misunderstanding. People misunderstand. Yeah. They think you're a violent person. They don't realize that you're very non-confrontational.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a big kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I'm probably like in my head probably like 15, 16 years old. I like the same stuff they like, video games and I still have like fun toys and stuff like that. I'm a big kid, you know. So I
Mhm.
didn't really have a childhood. So that's me now. If I didn't have to work every day, I would be sitting at home playing video games all day or something like that, or doing what a normal 15, 16-year-old kid would like to do, mostly
Mhm.
playing video games and doing all this shit. But you know, when I fight, it's just a switch that's turned on, and you know, I feel like I'm two people. So I have a split personality. It's Quinton and there's Rampage, and I know a lot of people think that, and they don't. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people said the same thing you said. Like they didn't know what to expect. They thought I was gonna come in here mean mugging and howling and shit, you know. But it's two different people.
Mhm. You know, it's interesting because you just brought up that there's Quentin and there's Rampage.
Yeah.
What do you want to be known more for these days? For Quentin or Rampage? Or
Mm.
is it a balance?
Yeah, I never thought about it. It's just, it's the weirdest thing. Like sometimes when I introduce myself as Rampage, and sometimes I introduce myself as Quentin. A lot of times, if I'm meeting like a woman or something in a business setting, I just say my name's Quentin. You know, but other than that, you know, I don't know. I'm just here living my life like everybody else. I don't think about that. I don't. That's the farthest thing from my mind, you know. But if people remember Rampage, that's going to bring me more income. Let's do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the Rampage is the persona and Quentin's the person.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was
Mhm.
interesting just because when you came in, I was curious. I was going to call you whatever you introduced yourself as.
Oh yeah.
And you said Rampage, and I was just curious if there was anything deeper behind that. But it sounds
Mm,
to me like they're both a part of you, but really it doesn't matter what you're called
right,
because it's more about how people treat you and
right.
how you present yourself. You're like do you feel that those two things are just labels? You're like, it's my name, but that doesn't you just because you know my name doesn't mean you know me.
Yeah, I'm the weirdest guy. I don't even think about none of that.
Hmm.
You know, Rampage. My cousin gave me that name when I was 8 years old, and it stuck with me. I had it tattooed on my arm when I was like 14, and it just one of those things. It just stuck with me, and it's my identity now. It's like one of those things that you get used to. I don't think about it. The last thing I think about is what other people think about me. What other people think about me is none of my business.
Hmm.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Man, it's like I'm just doing me, living my life.
Yeah. I think to draw emphasis on that, it's so important, to just, there's a sense again of peace and calm because you just are what you are. And I didn't know which way this conversation would go, but I really want to place the focus on because you know who you are and you're just living the authentic version of you and you're not concerned about what anyone else is thinking, but you're also willing to say, yeah, hey, I've had some depressive moments. I've
Yeah,
went through this. It just is what it is.
yeah,
There's a sense of stability though.
yeah.
Do you feel that overall do you feel like you have control like with your life or do you just kind of let life take you wherever?
Well, I would like to think I have control. You know, over the years, I started learning like the truth behind free will. You know, I got closer to the Most High.
Mm.
Um, saying our Heavenly Father who created heaven and earth and everything. I got closer to Him, and a lot of times, you know, you forget that I think we're just supposed to submit to Him, just let Him deal with it, and when I remember that, because we always fighting against that. It seems like we want to control stuff. When I remember, like, oh, I'm supposed to submit to the Most High, then I do that. Then I let Him take care of everything, and then it comes out the way it's meant to be. And then how can you fight against that, right? So it's like, what's going to happen is going to happen. And when you get a little older, you see certain patterns and stuff like that. That's why they say wisdom comes with age.
Hmm.
And, and I got older. I see certain patterns, and this is my own um, opinion. I don't push any of my views on anybody. But since I got closer to the Most High God, it's just everything just do what it do, and I've been happier.
Was that recently?
No, it been well. I had the enlightenment when I was like 26, but it was very confusing for me, and Christianity was telling me that it was called being born again, and I'm a weird person. Like I just don't take everybody's words for everything. I had to do my own research, and after doing my own research, I came across a lot of stuff, and for myself, I decided to walk away from all religion because I feel like religion is man-made, and I feel like the reason why a lot of my friends are around me, because I go off like experience. A lot of my friends that are around me, when I was trying to teach them about what happened to me about religion, a lot of my friends around me didn't really understand. They don't understand Christianity and stuff like that because and them not understanding Christianity, just they all have different reasons, but they kind of discredit God and makes a lot of people not believe in God. Because some religions, like when you're real intelligent, you can break down a religion and you see the flaws, and the people really telling you like, oh, if God made this religion, then God ain't real, or something like that, or whatever thing they come up with in their head, because there's a lot of flaws in a lot of religions, and I just for my own opinion, I come to just taking out the middleman, going straight to the Most High. So for me, I don't do any religions, and that I feel like that's another way we separate ourselves from different people. You know what I'm saying? That's another way we can be prejudiced towards people, and I don't like that. I like to treat people the way they treat me and others. So I don't, like I said before, I don't care about people's religions or nothing. So I don't do religions anymore.
Totally understandable. What's next for you?
I'm doing this podcast because that's fun. I do a MMA podcast called Jackson, and then I'm really excited about being a part of F3 Energy Drink because there's a lot of energy drinks out there, and I drink energy drinks every day, and it's about time we have one that's healthier for us and that we can have like 2 or 3 a day. You know what I'm saying? Before I would drink energy drinks, I would make sure I only stick to like one. Because we're in a different, younger people, we're not really drinking coffee. We're drinking energy drinks fast. You just grab it out the store, crack it open and drink. So I'm excited about being a part of F3 Energy, and that's part of what I'm doing now. I'm promoting them, helping them grow, and doing a podcast. I'm gonna do a boxing match hopefully in November.
Okay.
And then let's see what happens after that.
Yeah. And then where can people find you? Is it mainly are you on all the socials?
Yeah, I'm on all the socials. I think most of them Rampage for real. And then on TikTok I'm Rampage Jackson, I think, but I don't really use TikTok that much.
Yeah.
But I need to though, because TikTok is fun.
And also more opportunities, like you said. Rampage can bring more opportunity and more money.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I don't use TikTok that much because it's hard to slide in girls' DMs. That ain't the place. That don't seem like the place to slide in the DMs.
Someone's got to figure that out.
Yeah,
once they do it, if I find out, because I don't even, that doesn't even happen. It happens in the Instagram DMs.
Yeah, it goes down in the DMs, man. Yeah, but I don't TikTok. They ain't about that over there.
Okay, we need to submit a complaint so they can figure out how to change that software.
You remember back in the day before the DMs were crazy on TikTok? I don't know how old you are, but back in the day when
31.
Oh damn, you too young.
Oh, hold on now. Don't age me just because I did it to you. What do you? I might know. I might know. What do you?
Back in the day before the DMs was going crazy on TikTok, they used to have these separate apps where you follow a girl, it's another app you download and you can send her a direct message.
Maybe. From what were the apps though that you were?
It was like an app connected to Instagram.
Oh, what? And
because Instagram didn't always have DMs, I don't think.
Oh, and so I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was an app, and you if you follow the girl on this app, if she had the app too, you can send her a message.
But you couldn't if she wasn't following you.
Yeah, I don't think you could if she wasn't following you. I don't think you could, but they had to be following you, I guess. But this is years ago.
Yeah.
And they need that for TikTok.
For TikTok. Okay.
So one of your listeners, I just gave them $1 billion idea. Make an app where you can just slide in the girls' DMs on TikTok. They follow you.
There we go. $1 million idea or $1 billion.
Where you can have DMs on TikTok, but it's just not like Instagram.
It's not the same. No, you're exactly right. I mean, I made a mess on TV, and then my DMs were dead. Now they've come around, but I've noticed that you're right. There's a discrepancy for sure. TikTok is not the place where they'll just, if they see you on TikTok, they probably are going and sliding on Instagram.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. All right, well, there's $1 million idea for somebody else, or maybe me. Who knows? Maybe I'll take that one and run with it, man.
Go ahead.
I'll give you your 50%. We'll keep it even. So,
okay? I ain't gonna turn that on money.
We'll make that happen. So,
all right.
Rampage, man, this was awesome. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No problem, brother.